Well, here we are, everybody. We are back with the player's perspective. I'm your host, Bennie Fowler, and we have a special guest today, Talanoa Hufanga. Man, shout out to Austin Moss for connecting us, man. We were teammates for about 30 seconds when my last year in the league, man, but you had just been drafted, and I remember everybody just being excited about you and your ability. And here you are entering your first free agency, now signing with the Denver Broncos, man. So welcome to the show, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. So the first thing we'll get off to, man, first question is, bro, we are now in the Big Ten together. Michigan State plays at USC September 20th. I got the Spartans coming into your home, bro. Winning by 10. What you think?
Winning by 10 is crazy, first off. I think college a little different. It's the West Coast, man. So I know it's different for us going out to the Midwest, but the West Coast is a different atmosphere. So, you know me, I'm all USC every day. So fight on. I think we win by 30. So
whoa, 30, bro. That's how you coming.
Lincoln Riley, man. We over there scoring points. Come on now.
Yeah, you are.
We might give up some points, but we gonna have to show out with the touchdown. So.
Man, what was your time like at USC? Just, you reflect back to your college career. What was your time like there?
Time went by really fast. Man, USC was a blast. It was for me, it was my dream school. I ended up playing 3 years there. I did 3 years and graduated in 3 years and got drafted. And so for me, it was just like it just happened super like that. And it was very different. It was the Pac-12 at the time. So it wasn't the Big Ten. It wasn't traveling a lot. It was the Pac-12. And then actually my third year, after my second season, that's when COVID hit. So really I kind of had just a little bit under 2 years of really what college was like. And then the other year and some change was COVID. So I really didn't have the full experience, I would say. And so for me, it happened super fast, but it was definitely a good time. So.
Man, and graduate in 3 years, get your degree in 3 years, man. Shout out to you, man. Broncos fans, bro, are very excited to have you here, man. I know I'm super excited just as a Broncos alumni to have an incredible safety like you, incredible playmaker, and somebody who, has a tremendous respect around the league, man. You have described yourself as an instinctive player. And, I've read a couple of articles on you. Tell us a little bit about, what makes you say that, when somebody asks you to describe yourself, you say instinctive. What does that mean?
For me, well, I praise God first off because he gives me the instincts to play the game at a high level. Instinctual is really just a knack for the ball. Somebody that just goes out there and really can just be around the ball when it needs to be, make big plays when it needs to be done. But I think it comes into the preparation that you do. I really pride myself on, and it's tough to talk about the pride, but really I try to watch as much film as I possibly can, and so for me, when I feel confident in those scenarios and those situations, they pop up in the game, you really just can kind of fall back on your training and those instincts just start to kick in of what you think should happen in that situation. And you kind of make an educated guess to go out there and make a play. So not always have I been right. By no means. I've made mistakes like every other player has, but I can make more mistakes too. So, but I really have a really great time out there when it just kind of flows and everything happens on a blink of a second for sure. So
who do you model your game after? Who really taught you about the safety position, and who were your role models at the safety position?
Yeah, so for me, I watched a lot of film on a lot of people, it's just everybody. But obviously my favorite safety, and I think he's arguably the best safety to ever play, is Troy Polamalu. And I was very fortunate enough coming out of high school to meet him and actually end up training with him going into my last 4 years. I've trained with him. And so for me, it was just a total different shift of what I thought an NFL safety was supposed to do and what he taught me the whole different level to everything about the game, everything outside of the game. And, we would talk about other players, Ed Reed, Ronnie Lott, Bob Sanders back in the day, even a guy like me coming out of USC. We played at my first couple of years. I really watched a lot of Harrison Smith. Yeah. So Harrison Smith was a big time safety and he's still playing to this day. So for me, it's watching him do it at a high level for a long time. Those are some of the great names that I've just seen. But Troy definitely is my number one for sure.
Yeah, Troy was a beast, man. I remember when my first 2 years playing with Peyton, he would talk and he'd tell stories about Troy Polamalu and the fact that they play in cover two, but he would be on the line of scrimmage, and then by the time the ball was hiked, he had got back to his deep half of the field. I mean, it was just incredible to see it like that. Do you see yourself um, hiding yourself within the defense like that? I know Vance likes to um, do that type of coverage. How do you see yourself playing like that?
Oh, for sure. I think that's something that you have to practice first and foremost, because coach has to have that trust within you. I know I've had some trust with my coaches in the past. I played with D'Amico for a few years, and for me, even within his scheme, like I would blitz and cover three, and I wasn't supposed to blitz, but it was just like things that I saw. Like if I had a real run heavy tendency of like I'm gonna get home. And it's like, where's my responsibilities? And sometimes I look at the corner and be like, hey, just like play a little tighter, like man, and I'm just gonna blitz. And they would be like, all right. And sure enough, some worked, some haven't. Like I understand there's good and bad, but you have to make some good educated guesses, and that's what guys have done in the past. And talking with Vance, like it really has to be that trust. So I think that's what these OTAs are for: learning the scheme, understanding what it takes to be that person in the scheme, to make those right guesses, and even get other guys on the same page to really go out there and be playmakers. At the end of the day, it's like, what's the whole point of the game is getting the ball back for the offense, and scoring on defense at the end of the day. So whatever we can do to get the ball back, punching, get the ball, making a quarterback think one thing and he sees another. And so for us, it's just it's been good. So
What's that conversation like with D'Amico when, hey, this is the coverage, but hey, I decided to blitz there? What does he say to you on the sideline when it works and then when it doesn't work?
Well, I'm a person that do first and ask for forgiveness later. Learn as you go. I've definitely made plays because of like, okay, this is a real run heavy. Why is this receiver coming in there? As being a receiver yourself, like, why is he in that cut split?
Yeah.
And why is this tight end in versus that other tight end? Usually the guy that's going to be the pass catcher. You know what I mean? Like I'm gone. And if he can't block, if he blocks me, that means that's crappy place. The corner's going to make a play. And I'm here for it, not just me making a play, but for everybody making a play. If I can make the D lineman not get double teamed, I'm going to do it. I'll take on a 300-pound dude so my other D lineman can make a play. Like that's how I see the game. I've also blitzed, and they did exactly what they knew I was going to do. Bring it down. Oh, he thinks it's play action. But they force a quick throw to check down, and it's a 2-yard gain. So it's like, they're like, what are you doing? But it's like, hey, it was a 2-yard gain. Like, it wasn't a first down. If it was first down, then I'm probably on the sideline. So
right.
It's definitely had some conversations of just knowing when to do it at the right time, for sure.
Hey, man, talk a little bit about your free agency, your recruitment process. Sean Payton recently called you a first responder on defense. What does that mean to you?
First responder, that's interesting. I don't know how he would interpret it. I was very proactive in, when I get to talk to these teams and pick and have my agent kind of go over the list with me. I really told Coach Payton straight up, like, let's do whatever it takes to win. Like, I really want to be there. And at the end of the day, for me, like, if you want to give me the mic, let's give me the mic. Like, I want to run this defense. And so for me, I'm a person that just want to have, like, I want to make sure our guys make plays. We had the best defensive player in the league last year as corner. You got a great safety in Brandon Jones. You got another corner in Riley Moss, and we're drafting of these guys in the front seven is unbelievable. And so for me, it's just, what can we do to help guys make plays? And when they make plays, we win. And so, like, I've seen it firsthand on a great defense in San Fran. And when guys are just dialed into helping each other make plays and going out there, you're going to make a play yourself. But at the same time, your co-partner is going to make a play, and you're going to win games, and you're going to shut people out. And for me, I think it was like my first time in 2022, like, I've never held a defense or held an offense to 0 points before. And so, like, that's like something that's like really, really special as a defense. And so for me coming here, like, that's why can't we do that every game? Not saying it's hard, obviously, everybody gets paid, but like, that's what we strive for. And so getting here and just learning is going to be something that I'm like really want to push as a defender, but as the reason why Sean Payton called me a first responder, it's kind of interesting because you could take it so many different ways, but I'm a person that's really ready for the action, for sure.
You talked about 2022. You mentioned 2022, All-Pro, 79 tackles, I think 4 picks, couple forced fumbles. Talk a little, what clicked for you that year, All-Pro year?
Ooh, I think it's the belief, the trust, and obviously, thank God I trained way differently. I think I came into the league my rookie year and was still trying to figure things out. I think that's when, I met you and all those things, like just learning how to be a special teamer first. I really wanted to make sure I just worked up the line versus just, some guys get caught in coming in and they just want to play defense and then they don't know what special teams looks like. Like I just, whatever I could do to get called up and make that, that game day roster. I wanted to be active every week. And I was like, what can I do for that? Going into my second year, it was like, hey, this is the year to start, and you gotta go differently. And so that training, that off season, Troy put me through the ringer. He had me doing all different types of stuff. And so going into that, I was very confident in myself, but just understood my role and what they needed and what they asked of me, and went out there and just did the best I could. So
2023 injury with the ACL, 2024, a little bit of a wrist. Talk a little bit about the adversity, as if, there are little kids out here who want to be like you, people who want to play at the highest level. What would you tell them about overcoming that adversity, and how's your body feeling now?
Well, I'll just say body's feeling great. Body's 100%. It's been 100% for quite a while now. But, injuries is part of the game. I always looked at everybody's different. For me, injuries there's not one person that's never left the NFL without an injury. You know what I mean? It's 100% injury rate in this game. And so we know what we signed up for. But for me, it's pretty cool in those moments, actually. Like I've been injured and some people, they get so down on themselves. And I've just been a more positive, energetic person. Like, how can I overcome this? And how can I be a better role model for my family, my wife, my daughter, and, things like that. And so what can I do to be the best person, individual I can? So it's just being very tedious in those little tasks that they ask you to do, especially with the ACL. It was like couldn't walk for the first 7 weeks. And so it was just one of those things, like you're on crutches. It just feels like you're like, everybody is ashamed of you. And I'm over there like, man, this is like pretty cool. Like I'm finding these things out about myself that I really didn't know I could get through, And so, and then going back into the next year, I tear my wrist last year, and I'm playing with the club now. And like, as a quarterback and as an offensive player, if you see somebody back there wearing a club, you're like, go at him. Like,
yep.
Get a score on you. And so for me, I'm like, why can't I go out there and learn how to play and get out of my comfort zone? And so I kind of pushed myself because it's not easy to tackle. It's not easy to get the ball. I dropped the interception. I know what it feels like. And, the whole crowd is just looking at you like, why didn't you catch it? Yeah. Well, you only got one arm and there's no excuses. And so for me, it's like learning those things about yourself and being confident enough to go back out there and do it again, even if you're going to fail. And so for me, it's pretty special. And that's what I love about football. And it teaches you those hard moments that you can take with your life for the rest of it. So be good.
Football is the ultimate teacher, man. I really appreciate you sharing that message, because I think it's something that we should always send to kids in terms of the ups and downs. And like you said, the NFL, 100%, you're going to get injured. But I think you also have a positive outlook. That optimism and that outlook is something that you can always reframe failure. You can always, you seem like a glass half full type of guy. And I think that's one of the reasons why Sean and George bring somebody like you in, because of that culture fit and what that brings to the culture of an organization that is back on the rise. Sean told me verbatim in 2020, look, we don't need you here in terms of, don't come in here with an attitude. Come in here to play, and come in here to play the right way, because he wants people to fit into the culture just as much as is just important as offense, defense, and special teams. Talk a little bit about what you bring to this culture in this organization.
I think when you bring somebody like me, you bring a faith-based first and foremost. I'm big on my faith, and I want to spread the gospel as much as I can throughout the locker room. I think that's what helps the camaraderie first and foremost, the collectiveness, and what it takes to go out there and play. I would like to say I'm a leader in some ways. I'm a very quiet leader. And then at the end of the day, I want to be vocal when I get on the field. I'm kind of a person that just shows by example. So just showing up first and being last and doing all those different things. But it's like I learned that over time. Like I kind of tell you, I did that my rookie year. Like I was learning deer in the headlights, just trying to figure it out. But coming in now, I feel like, they call you that year 5 is, you're starting to become a vet now. Yeah. But I feel like I've been a vet since year 2. So for me, just kind of taking that role and coming in here and spreading that knowledge around the locker room. Hopefully the guys will take it in, and hopefully there's respect both ways. So
100%. A couple more questions, man. I would love to know your thoughts on playing with the Defensive Player of the Year, Pat Surtain, and then also Jahdae Barron, a new teammate of yours, just drafted in the first round, going to be playing nickel, maybe some outside. Just give your thoughts on those two corners and playing with those guys.
Yeah, well, watching Pat, I've been watching Pat. Obviously, we both came out of high school at the same time, did all the things, Army game, all this. And like you just see as you're going through. I don't know if he's Army game, but I'm talking about like just All American, that kind of guy. Did 3 years exactly, got drafted the same year, and then I've just been watching these last 4 years, like unbelievable. Every year he's just does something even better. So for me, it was like I was super excited to play with a guy like that. That when you're on the field, that half of the field is just completely shut down. Like you don't have to worry about them. You can whatever you want. If they want to throw that way, they can try, and he's gonna make them pay for it. But somebody like him, like I'm super excited to work with, and I just think I can learn from him as much as I can. I'll be a sponge when I'm around him and absorb as much knowledge for sure, and how to play the game the right way. So a guy like Jahdae, learning a lot about him as we go. But one thing that kind of stood out to me is just his character. I think that goes a long way. I think for me, just seeing how mentally and mature he was the right way when he showed up. Like I got to see him and just the way he speaks. I think everybody's interview, they talked about how he put the team on speaker and he wanted to talk to the whole team. Like just something that's you just don't see that nowadays. You know what I mean? And everybody's in it, could be in it for the wrong reasons, or they just want to get dressed. Like he was so respectful, a person that's beyond his years for sure. And so for me, I'm just excited to work with somebody like that. Being a guy that's still young, like I just turned 25. I feel young still.
Damn.
And I'm in year 5, so I came out young. So I don't know. There's some guys like when I was last year, I had rookies that were older than me. So it was like it's a different time now, but he's definitely ahead of it for sure. So.
Love it, man. And then would love for you to touch on Bo Nix, man, and his recruitment role. Did he have any part or say in recruiting you, or when you did sign with the team, did he reach out? And your thoughts on Bo as a quarterback, as a rookie, and just being teammates with him now?
Oh yeah, most definitely. He reached out immediately. Got to see him when I came on when I signed, the day I signed, and got to chop it up with him. He's a guy that's just been a gamer. When you really watch him, way back in the day, like went from was it Auburn, Oregon. Yeah. I watched him a lot when Oregon, because I am from Oregon originally. So
okay.
Kind of watching him, like you just kind of watch the team and just kind of seeing what he does. But everybody was kind of like skeptical about his rookie, and he just came out here and balled, and that's what I love about it. And so even talking to Dre, he was my locker partner at the Niners. And then when we came here together, we're like, man, like when you got a quarterback that can go out there and really play, and as a defense, like you can, it's not just 3 and out. There's a lot of teams like that in the NFL, And so for us, it was like, man, we got potential here, and so why can't we come over here and help change? But he's the reason, and I think a lot of guys in the locker room be like, the atmosphere has changed a lot in these last few years. Just seeing what they went through, and then having a guy like Bo come in and do what he does, and the way he works, like I've just been around it so far in the OTAs, like the dude hustles. And so
love it.
Excited to work with him, and excited to hopefully go the distance for sure.
I forgot to ask you about Dre. Talk a little bit about, did you guys talk at all in terms of the recruitment? And then you guys both signed, you guys were both at the 49ers. What's it like? What's he like in the huddle? What's he like in terms of just his intensity that he brings? Because he's one of those dudes, I'm on record saying this. He's one of those dudes that scares you. Like if you practicing against him, you wonder if you're on the same team as him, because that's how hard he goes.
Oh, most definitely. I always say I've been blessed because I've been on the same side every single play with him. So I've never had to go against him. Every scout team rep that I was on, like he wasn't on the field, so I'm like I was good. So it's been a blessing. He was my locker mate my first 4 years, and we actually are locker mates again. So they made sure to put us together because that was kind of something special. That guy is different. He plays with a different type of intensity, and the guy that you see in the huddle is very different than the guy you see outside of the game. He's a very relaxed, chill, walk around, can have a good conversation. The minute he's in game mode, the light has switched. And so for a guy like him, we always talked, and we always said the way he plays is desperate. And that's something I think is the best compliment you can give somebody, in my opinion. And he's the one person I would give it to, that the way he plays the game is desperate. Like he has to itch and scratch and claw every single play. And
Love it,
that's
man.
why I'm super excited to play with him again. So we did
And
talk.
then
We ended up on the same team.
that's dope. Love that for you, man. And then just the one last thing is, what's your message to Bronco fans? What should they be excited about with you, and just, the addition of Dre, the addition of Jahdae Barron, and, what's your message to Broncos country? Because I know they're looking forward to hearing from you.
Well, Broncos country, I think it's just looking forward to just an exciting season. I think there's a lot of everybody has expectations. I think we're not one of those teams that just puts it out there, but our goal is to go 1-0 every week. And if you can do that and stack those games, you're going to be right back where we were last year or even better. So that's the goal. And you can never make promises. That's not the name of the game. You just got to go out there and play the game how it's supposed to be played. And that's what I think is super exciting for our team.
Talanoa Hufanga, man, really appreciate you, a.k.a. Huff. I see Huff at the bottom of the screen. So, man, really appreciate you joining the Player's Perspective, man. Thank you.
No doubt. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.